Welcome to Fuzzybutts and Friends. What was much as it drives Fuzzybutts all over this place absolutely crazy when they hear me say it. I am the host of this show, your big dog, Luke Robinson, and I'm back again with you this week. And look over to my left or my right. I think I get it reversed when I watch the video. It's Ginger.
Yeah,
It's Ginger Morgan. She's our co-host and co-producer, and she's also the executive director of the Puppy Up Foundation. Ginger, how are you this week?
I did really well, Luke. This past weekend on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, we had our Madison Puppy Up Walk, and we had a costume contest, and we had three dogs dressed up as a mariachi band or the Three Amigos. It was really, really fun. The contest was fun. The entire walk was just a huge, huge success.
Well, congratulations on your success. I know Madison's been one of our flagship puppy up walks around the country, and it's great that you had a great time there. So, where are the pictures? I want to see the puppies in the mariachi band. Where are the pics?
Oh, I hope they did get some. They will be posted on our Facebook page for Puppy Up Madison. Some of the stuff has already been posted. I know I have a really cute picture of a pug trying to drink out of this little cup. He had his Barkarita. So that was with our Brutus bone broth. And I don't know, but they had these really, really cute little margarita glasses out there. And they had it rimmed with, I want to say maybe it was a yogurt or something, and then some of their treats that were crushed up. So they looked really, really cute. So yeah, we had fun. And, I always like to mention the weather, and the weather always at this time of the year in Madison, Wisconsin is iffy, but it was beautiful. It was clear, sunny, maybe just a little bit of a light breeze and maybe 70 degrees. It was great.
Yeah, you had the Slobber Saloon there and the Barkarita. I still need to, unfortunately, I still haven't got my shipment of Brutus bone broth, so I don't know where that is. I need to send an email out to their team and get some over here for Indiana. I make broth for him on my own, but I would like to make him a Barkarita. It's getting hot here in San Antonio, and even though we missed the Cinco de Mayo celebration, boy, I'm glad to hear it was a successful event for you.
It was. Yeah, more people are coming back out again. We've had some issues since COVID with people staying in and just not coming back to the walks. But we had a really good turnout yesterday as well. I mean, on the 5th.
Good, good. Well, as the people watching this on our Fuzzybutts Studios feed, our YouTube channel, you can probably see it's just the two of us. We don't have a guest this time, but because it's time for the third installment of Fuzzybutts in the News. Have lots to talk about, lots of interesting things going on. And in addition to that, I'm also taking care of Indiana, and that really has affected my schedule and my situation. For those of you, thank you to send nice notes to me on Facebook and X and Instagram as well. I appreciate that. Really having a tough time with Indiana. He's lost just a lot of his mobility in his hind legs. But Ginger, there is news there, which I think is interesting and relevant to Facebook friends, actually, to our friends and followers, because I put this out on Facebook and I got a lot of feedback. It was interesting. The post. I guess you haven't been on social media, you haven't seen it, but I've been holding off to start Indiana on Librela, even though we had the PI with Zoetis on, and it's been such a promising, wonderful drug that has helped so many debilitated dogs out there, Ginger. There just have been some side effects, and we're unsure whether, to the extent to which it would help Indiana and his neuropathy out. But it's the problem that we're experiencing with Indiana is his arthritis on his front, really his front legs, his front limbs, and his shoulders in particular. He has spurs. It's gotten so bad that he's having a tough time. So next week we're going to start him on Librela. I put that on Facebook, and a lot of people gave some interesting replies. The vet I'm using here at Healing Hands in San Antonio, Texas, she's seen some neurological deficits with that she feels or could be associated with Librela. So as a safeguard, we've started him on lion's mane. And Ginger, I think we talked about that before on the show. It's a wonderful mushroom supplement that has shown tremendous benefit in neuropathy, nerve protection, myelin protection, and liver function and some organ functions as well. So we started in Indiana on lion's mane, And so next week we start the Librella. So thanks to everyone who's sent messages to me and to us about him. It's been tough for us, but I'm still fighting for him. You know, he's my boy, as you know. And all right, before I start crying about that, I don't want to cry. It's been tough. There is something interesting that's happened recently in the news that I've been excited. I'm fascinated by it. We knew it would come at some point. Ginger, I'm going to try to share the screen here. It's a video of Sparkles. I'm not sure if you let's see if I can share this. Do you see it?
I do not.
You
Oh,
do
there it
not.
is. There it is.
There it is. Okay, do you see the small version or the big version?
I see a big version of Sparkles.
Good, good.
Sparkles
Okay,
have the
so
blue hair.
yes. Okay. So what's interesting, exciting about this, and also terrifying to me is
Does
we
he
knew this.
shed?
What's that? Yeah.
Does he shed?
So Boston Dynamics has taken their flagship product, Spot, which is it truly has been a game changer in a number of respects, a number of use cases, such as law enforcement. Ginger, I read about a story up in Massachusetts where they sent in the robot dog into I think it was a domestic situation, but someone was holed up. And they knew the person was armed, and they sent the robot dog in first before the law enforcement officers, thank God. And boy, the bad guy, I don't know what to call them legally anymore. The bad guy shot the hell out of the robot dog. I think he shot him like 9 times. And you think about the power and of importance of that, Ginger. We know so many wonderful actual real dogs are service dogs and law enforcement and the military. And while I appreciate their job and I have tremendous respect for that, my biggest concern, Ginger, is I don't want them harmed or hurt, right? And so Boston Dynamics Spot really is out there in the field in these tough situations, and I think over time they're going to protect our fuzzy butts from any harm in unfortunate situations as these. So I'm a big
Okay, wait,
advocate of.
did Spot survive?
No, no, I don't think. Well, I don't know. They said he was pretty banged up, and they had. I don't know what happened. Whether he whether he was reparable or they put him on the scrap heap. I don't know. But the things are only $75,000 a piece. I think that's the retail price. So it doesn't cost a lot to replace them, Ginger. But more importantly, you save the life of a dog, because had it been a real dog that had gone into that situation, as you know, it would not have survived that. So. But what's interesting now is Boston
Okay, no,
Dynamics.
you can't just move on. So is Spot trained to attack?
I don't think so. I don't think yet. I think I don't know. I really can't say. I don't think that.
I guess he just goes in and does like surveillance and then lets everybody know. There must be some type of recording that he's feeding back to the officers outside.
Yeah, mostly it's mostly sent in for reconnaissance, I guess. But as you know, there are many applications or use cases for Spot, and on the commercial and the government side, or the public side of it. But there are also people that individuals, private citizens, can actually acquire a Spot, and I know some of them have actually armed them, put AR-15s on them, and I saw one actually. There actually is a robot dog that can dispense tear gas now for riot control. So it's just a weird world. It's an interesting question where we're going to go with Spot in the future. But I want to talk more specifically about.
I don't see snuggling up to Spot. I mean, my dogs typically sleep with
Well,
me, and that's just not going to be all. I can't imagine like putting my head over on Spot's shoulder. I mean, does he come with padding?
Well, yeah, actually, if you watch the videos, which I'm just a total tech Spot Boston Dynamics nerd, and I want to get them on Fuzzy Butts and Friends. In fact, I sent an open invitation to Boston Dynamics to have one of the scientists that heads up the Spot program to come on and talk to us. But I think just the robot without the fur, Spot without the fur, he does some cute things, and he's only gonna get cuter. But what Boston Dynamics did, and the reason of this for this segment, which is both funny and frightening to me at the same time, is they put fur on him. And so hence Spot became Sparkles. And if you look at the screen, if you're on our YouTube channel at fuzzybutstudios.com, you can see Well, there's Sparkles and Spot together. And let's see if I can play this. I don't think we'll get audio, Ginger. It's a cute little song. If you go to YouTube, you can check this out, or it's probably on the Boston Dynamics website. Can you hear that?
I cannot.
Okay, I get the audio on my side, but not your side. I think it's because we have our it doesn't share the audio feed.
Well, he's kind of cute. They've got some of the, the
Yep.
moves down.
Yeah, but this is version 1. Look at that right there. How cute that is.
Yeah, but Sparkles looks cute. Spot kind of his head looks snake-like.
Well, yeah, because they have to make them multifunctional, right?
Right.
But there's Sparkles with his costume, and but Sparkles actually is. Okay, let me get out of this screen now. All right, because I'm getting the audio on my side. So let me stop sharing that. So I get so they have made Spot a lot cuter, and this is only V10, right? This is like only version 10. So my concern, where I find this both funny and frightening at the same time, is version 10 is cute in of itself. Sparkles is cute, and while he probably carries a price tag, he or she, I don't know what Sparkles' gender is. That brings up an entirely different conversation I don't want to delve into. But anyway, I don't know what the cost is, but my guess is probably something like the $75,000 that Spot costs, right? That's completely unaffordable to the average pet parent. So, like me, who has lost 3 dogs to cancer, it's like, and now I'm on the verge. I shouldn't say that, but it's getting close to losing Fuzzybutt number 4 for me. I'm actually, truthfully, honestly, I don't know if I want to go through this again. And if they make Sparkles more affordable and maybe a little bit smaller, so he doesn't scare the hell out of everybody, I don't know. It would be maybe an option for me. And go ahead.
Okay, so think about this. So Sparkles, what is Sparkles' lifespan?
It's a good question. I don't know, but my guess is it lasts a while. And because they can replace the parts, but again, this is all new technology. It's Spot's only been on the market, I think, for 5 years, really. I think commercially available for only a few years. So it's only going to get better. It's only going to last longer. So you maybe.
So, well, I was thinking about depending on whether you can make payments, you don't have to make the whole 75,000 at once. If you take the average cost per dog, depending small, medium, or large, let's just say, because I would think most of our listeners are feeding their dogs a little bit better food, probably take them to the vet, treats, and probably take them to the vet more often. Just regular, no problems, and probably costing anywhere between $15,000 to $2,000 a year, give or take. So if the dog is living till they're 10 with no health issues, so that's basically $20,000. And then it might actually, depending on how long Sparkles lives.
I see where you're going, and then they have health problems like neuropathy or cancer, and now the cost. I'm surprised that we don't have the statistic. Is what is the average cost of a dog over a lifetime? And that's a really tough question to ask to answer. I'm sure, as you know, because small breeds live a little longer than larger breeds, and they cost more.
The statistics are out there, and I know the last time I looked, which has been a while ago, is about $1,200 a year for. The first year is always more expensive because you're getting all the puppy shots and all that, all that. But I think it's somewhere about $12,000 a year. So, however long they live. And I can assure you that Lily has cost me a small fortune. That's what I was thinking. If I had just gotten Sparkles, I might have
come ahead.
Come out ahead. Right. Because Lily being 16 and a half with everything that's happened to her, I call her my $30,000 dog, but maybe I should up it to the 75,000.
Yeah, I'm sure she's a lot more than that. And several of my Fuzzybutts cost a lot, but you never count the cost. You never do, because of the love you get back. But at least you're warming your.
The love I get back.
Well, I know you don't get any love back from Lily, just like I don't get love back from my Pyrenees, but that's why I have ungrateful Pyrenees, not great Pyrenees, ungrateful Pyrenees. But at least you're warming up to the idea, and you understand my point. And my concern is that very soon Sparkles is going to be smaller, cuter, even cuter. It's not going to have like fur. It looks like they actually just got a costume and just glued the costume on. It looks kind of cheap and silly,
Yeah.
but it's funny. But soon, Sparkles or whatever the next generation, Lilith, or Malcolm, Murphy, whatever the next generation of the cute Boston Dynamics humanized dog. I wonder what word they use for it. It's not humanized, but more anthropomorphized, I guess. More humanized. I guess that would be right. More easily adoptable by humanity. So the more they humanize Sparkles and the cheaper it becomes, it's going to become an option. And my concern, Ginger, is because we have such a large population of actual fuzzy butts that need a home out there right now. Within 5 years, I predict within 5 years, it's going to be small and cheap enough where you're going to have a 5-year-old kid, 6-year-old kid, where their parents are going to ask them, "Hey, do you want a robot Sparkles or do you want a real Sparkles?" And the more that we do our job at the foundation and our efforts educating people about cancer and how many of our canine companions get cancer every year, the kids are going to know that, oh, well, if I get the real Sparkles, it's probably going to get cancer, especially if it's like a golden retriever, which 60% of them will die of cancer, is what the statistic that we're using now, right? And so I don't want the scenario where you have a child who really wants to have a companion in their life make that choice. Real dog, robot dog. It's tough, and and a lot of kids are gonna choose the robot dog, don't you think?
I don't know. I mean, how does a robot dog like lick you and love on you? And that just got to be creepy because its tongue's got to be like metal, right? So, so, so where I'm getting now, this slobbery, warm, wet thing, it's going to be this cold metal stuck to my face.
Well, in five, yes. Right now, you're right. It looks like it's all cold steel, probably carbon fiber or something like that. But
Talk about a cold nose.
that's right. That's a cold nose up your fuzzy butt in the morning. That's a way to wake up. But over time, they're gonna put organic skin on it or something. I don't really know what they're gonna do to more humanize it, or whether it's a plastic coating or something like that. So they're going to humanize it. This is just Sparkles is version 1.0. There's going to be a 2.0 and a 5.0 and a 6.0. So at some point, it will be more humanized. And I think you'll have more and more children. And I think it should be a concern. I don't hear a lot of people in the rescue shelter community talking about this and planning for it, more importantly, because it is going to be the future, and it is going to be it's going to represent a big problem. Because we have so many of real fuzzy butts, true living fuzzy butts that need a good home right now. So at some point, you think it's going to be a problem, right? You'd have to agree with that.
Maybe,
All right.
maybe.
Well, all right. All right. Well, like, it's not just disagree. We'll
What
see
do you
over
feed
time.
them? Do you have to like plug them in? I mean,
Well,
you
yeah.
got me asking all these questions. You have to plug them in at night?
Yeah, you would have. Well, I wouldn't imagine you'd plug him overnight if you wanted to sleep with him or her. I guess you would. It's battery driven, right? You have to. It needs a power source of some sort,
Oh, so the
right?
batteries over time, are the batteries like those EV battery things that are really, really expensive? What do
Yeah,
you
there
know?
would
What?
be there would be a cost of maintenance. I'm sure upgrades too, because Boston Dynamics, just like every other tech company, would figure out a way to monetize and get money from you every year. This year, this version 5.0 with Sparkles can't bark
Oh,
or can't do tricks, right? So version 6 of Sparkles can.
oh, and that
can
fur would have to be replaced over time.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I know it's
All
a
right.
far out, I know it's a far out conversation, but it's
Yeah.
funny and I think both frightening, and I think it is something to talk about and be concerned about because robot dogs are going to be a part of society. And I also have a good friend here in San Antonio, Eric Gamble, and I've had many lofty conversations and interesting, deep conversations about the interface between robot dogs and human dogs. Think about having in a household, think about having a robot spot that's not as weird looking, but more humanized like Sparkles, and actually you having Lily. How do you think Lily would take to a robot dog?
Oh, no, no, absolutely not. Let me tell you, she doesn't like it when she tells the other dogs in the household to do something and they don't. Um,
Yeah, she
I
doesn't
had,
interface
yeah.
with real dogs at all very well, and much more.
No,
Um,
she does. She gets along with them. She just wants them to do what she wants to do, and if they don't, she just barks at them.
but see, therein lies therein lies the nature of the conflict with the robot dog, because the robot dog would have directives that would be directed by the humans, right? And so the robot dog is not going to would not do anything that Lily would ask it to do. So Lily would probably pee on it all the time. I mean, I would imagine
Well,
rusting. I imagine that would be a real problem. Your real dog
she
would be.
might back it in a corner and not let it out.
Yeah, but what happens though if you have a dog that gets scared easily, and you introduce a robot dog into the family, into the household, and then your real dog it doesn't like it, gets aggressive and starts attacking it.
And
Um,
kills your $75,000 dog
but what if the
and
directive of the
unplugs it at
robot
night.
But what if like what is that what was that movie RoboCop, where they gave the robots the weren't robots, the cyborgs, directives, right? Don't hurt humans. Well, what if one of the directives of the robot dog is protect your family, protect the family, or resource guard, right? Well, if you have a real dog that resource guards, I mean, as well, that's just going to create a nightmare scenario. I think it seems like to
I
me.
think Lily would figure out how to unplug it at night, or whenever it was plugged in, she would figure it out. She's pretty smart of, try to put baby gates up and stuff, and she gets around every one of them. I did something and she just pulled the baby gate away. So I could just see her just pulling
You're
yeah.
probably right. I think that's hilarious. Actually, just taking out the power plug every night. Make
Yep,
sure
I can sit here just bite, like, here I go, plugging it in, Lily. Hey, Lily, what's going
that.
on? And then in the
Well,
middle of the night, she just plugs it and then like turns it on low or something so the battery's totally dead in the morning.
I mean, it's one of the freaky scenarios, but funny potentially scenarios that are going to happen in the very near future. And I think it's something to talk about, and that's why I wanted to bring it up and talk about it on this episode of Fuzzy Butts in the News. I want to get to one more topic. I know we're going to have a short episode this week with Fuzzy Butts in the News. We've got a number of wonderful veterinarians up and coming, and some local animal organizations up and coming on our podcast. So stay tuned for those as well. But we had fun, a little bit of fun, a little bit of a freaky conversation, but a little bit of fun conversation. But Ginger, I wanted to talk to, because I think it's incumbent upon us in this podcast to represent the interest of pet parents. And I want to talk about a bad business practice that I see, you see as well, we've seen, we talked about more and more so at veterinary clinics, and it is where they take care of your dog and look at your dog or diagnose your dog with you not in the room. So basically, you sit in the waiting room, and they take your dog back and they do whatever, and then bring your fuzzy vet, not just your dog, your companion animal. I saw them do that with a rooster, I didn't know it was a hen at Alamo Heights Vet Clinic here.
Oh my gosh.
Someone brought their hen in, and they just took the hen in the back. I'm like, don't you want to go back there with it? I mean, I would, if it was my hen. But you know what I'm talking about, right? It's almost like they just think, okay, well, you just sit out here in the waiting room, and we'll go take care of your companion, your mate here, and we'll let you know how it goes. And I have to say, fundamentally, I disapprove of that. What are your thoughts?
That practice was going on a little bit before COVID, but once COVID took over and you couldn't go even into the vet clinic with your dog, they came out and got it and did that. I think now it's really prevalent. And I know for me, I mean, I typically will write down or type out, because my handwriting is not great. I'll type out everything that's going on with my dog, and I want to go over that, and I'll give that list to somebody. And then, I know for one of my vets a while back, I don't go there anymore, but I gave a list, and so she calls me to talk about what happened. And I was like, well, what about this? And what about that? Oh, you wanted me to check that? I'm like, it was on the list. I even had like check boxes so they could check them off to make sure that they got all of it. I was like, well, it was on the list that I gave to the person who took my dog inside. And so the other thing about that is, a lot of times when I see the vet examining my dog, we're having a conversation about it, then I'll remember something that I left off of that one-page note of everything that's going on. And so think I really like being in the room. I know for some things they take them out because I think that it's sometimes the dog, the reaction because the person's in the room with them might make their reaction to the veterinarian more aggressive. You know, with my dog Clifford, they always took him out of the room because I think he was trying to protect me from the vets anyway, and he didn't like going to the vet. So that was why his name was Iffy Cliffy. But you know, some of my dogs, they wouldn't care about that.
Yeah, but as you know, it's almost like your time when you set up an appointment is that your time is spent with the vet tech, and it's almost like veterinary medicine is following human medicine, where vet techs are becoming more like a PA, right? A physician's
Right.
assistant, and then they take all the history down and then convey it to the vet, and they perform whatever diagnostics in the back in a separate room. And for me, as you know, sometimes what makes the difference in a successful outcome or treatment is the history, is all the information. And so now you have now you have an intermediary between the pet parent and the veterinarian. And so it's all about making sure that that information is relayed accurately. And as you know, we live in a busy world, and sometimes things get missed and sometimes things get lost. And veterinary medicine is not there yet. Vet techs, I love them. They're great and wonderful. We have so many friends and volunteers, and they're only getting smarter and more capable and better trained. And so I think it's a wonderful trend, but we're just not there yet where you need to disintermediate the diagnostic part, the history part of the process. And to give you a personal story here in San Antonio, is Indiana was getting acupuncture treatments, and it was one of those clinics where they just took him in the back and did the acupuncture and then brought it back out. And he has neuropathy, and I thought the vet was very clear on that. And comes I turned to come to find out after the third treatment, she asked me if we wanted to use the electrodes, and I'm thinking, well, I just thought we were always on the same page from day one. That's exactly the kind of acupuncture that he needed. He has neuropathy and needs electrical stimulation to his extremities, and so for two sessions that I paid for, he wasn't getting the treatment. It's because I wasn't there. It's because you sit out here in the waiting room, and then we'll go do what we need to do. And so that experience really accelerated to me the need to make this a public conversation for us to talk about that on the show. And look, as you know, I'm a big supporter of veterinary medicine. Veterinarians we've met so many wonderful ones on our travels, especially oncologists. They've helped me and my boys out in so many cases. But look, you know, if it's for what you're correct in that business practice became very prevalent in COVID because it was drop off your fuzzy butt, we'll take care of it, and then you get it. But now to me, it's almost like a cost cutting decision, right? Well, let's cut some costs and cut some corners by bringing the vet tech in and do this. And let's take the patient, the pet parent, not the patient, but the pet parent out of the equation. It saves time and money. And look, you don't make those cost-cutting decisions when it comes to quality care. You don't do it in human medicine, even though it's done, and we don't do that in veterinary medicine. So I'm being a little bit, not sanctimonious, but I'm preaching a little bit. But I do believe it's part of my role here on Fuzzy Butts and Friends, and all that we've done with Puppy Up to try to encourage best business practices at every level, and that includes veterinarians. So for the veterinarians to listen to the show, if you do that, please consider changing your policies. The pet parent should be there unless it's a treatment that's done every week and there's nothing new or something I don't mean that to apply in every situation. But when it comes down to you have a new patient or you're doing a new treatment or some additional diagnostics, disintermediating that information flow between pet parent and actual and veterinarian, it's too risky, and it lends itself to all sorts of problems. Go ahead, please.
And this,
Preaching.
yeah, I'm gonna stick in the that probably was not a good term to use for this, but I'm gonna go ahead and like skip to the a cancer tip. So one of the things with my old veterinarian, and I say old because he did retire, but so when I was in the room, when he did the physical exam, he also did an anal exam on the dog, right? And so I didn't realize once I switched veterinarians that they don't do that every time. And, you know, anal cancer is something that it seems to me that I hear more about it more frequently now than maybe in the past that we did. And that can be, you know, they can check. I mean, you, especially an older dog, typically I think the veterinarians want you to take your dog to the vet every 6 months. So if you're checking that every 6 months, well, the likelihood that that would be found early if they were getting that exam instead of the dog having problems and then that exam is given. I know I don't, my veterinarian, I don't think in just an annual exam does that unless I ask for it. So that might be something everybody wants to, you know, just go ahead and ask for when your dogs, when you take in your, for your yearly exams.
Yes, yes, anal cancer is a concern, and it can be so easily diagnosed with a simple procedure and a low-cost procedure. Now, since we lost PetDX, I don't recall if anal cancer was something they screened for, but my guess is they did, and all the cancers they screened
I
for.
don't know.
But you're right; it's something that can be easily done within the vet visit, and also. Just a reminder, Ginger, we got to send people to the website to always learn the early warning signs of cancer. That's important, as you know, and you can do that at the puppyup.org. And you've got, is there like a link to the early warning signs up
Yeah,
on the website?
there's a link to the early warning signs, and we also have a link there so where you could well, there's information on there about our lumps and bumps check sheets. You can just email info@puppyup.org and ask for one of those, and we'll email it to you.
Yeah, say, and thank you for sending me the stack full of those lumps and bumps checklist. If that's, I'm not sure what you call them, but I handed them out.
That's exactly what I call them.
Well, it's more than that. It's a diagram. It's more than a checklist because you can actually diagram. You can actually mark on the paper where the lump and bump is located on your fuzzy butt. And I handed them out, a whole bunch of them out at the Pooch Parade here in San Antonio, and everyone loved them. And I said, if you do have a lump or a bump that you find on your fuzzy butt, you just mark it on this diagram and fill this out, this checklist out, and take it to your veterinarian, and they love it. And so
Yeah,
everyone.
and on the flip side of it, it tells you how to mark it, whether you have a dark dog or a white dog. We used Sharpie. One time I made the mistake of using red, and the vet tech saw the red underneath. I guess it was probably Hudson's fur and thought he was bleeding, you know.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, that's where I marked the spot. Red marks the spot. But yeah, so it tells you exactly what to do and how to do it on the back side of that sheet.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing that. And I'm also here in San Antonio helping out Fetch Pet Care. And one of the other things you can do is you know, if you have pet service providers like groomers, or you have dog walkers or dog sitters, or other people, it's just great to have a second, third set of eyes always putting their hands on your fuzzy butt, right? As many people as you can have. That seems weird, touching your
Yeah.
fuzzy butt. Lily would
Well,
not like that, of course, but
absolutely not.
but it
Well,
is.
unless, you know, but okay, so I don't know if I told you the last time I took her to the veterinarian for her cancer checkup, which she passed all the tests. Um, a male vet tech walks her back to me and says, "She is so sweet and soft and cuddly." And I'm like, "Whoa." And he was like, "Oh, she was letting him love on her and everything." But he goes to hand me the leash, and she looks at me like, "Who are you?" I think she just does that just to aggravate me.
Well, I don't
Because
think
if we
redheads
go,
get along, do they? So even though you're not a real
maybe
redhead,
not, you know, maybe that's it. So
I've never known two redheads to get along for any long period, extended period of time. And I know you're not a real,
maybe not. Yeah.
you're not physically a real redhead, but deep down inside, yep, you're red.
It's
So.
my, yeah, my grandmother was a redhead. So there you go.
All right, so I think we're winding up this episode of Fuzzy Butts in the News. We had some fun talk and some freaky talk about the future, and also some serious talk about some things. I hope we get this message to some of the veterinarians out there. But as we wrap up, Ginger, you wanted to thank some of the wonderful sponsors for the Puppy Up Walk that participated in it
I
last week.
do
All
want
right,
to
please
thank
take it
them.
away.
So, this was so much fun. Happy Tails Chase Place was a Gold Paw sponsor for our Puppy at Madison walk, and they did a lure course. And let me tell you, there was a little Shiba Inu that ran her, I think it was a female, just ran her little heart out going around and around and around. But a couple of dogs did like go under the fencing. But most of the time, there was a line there the entire time. They had a blast. So big shout out to
I
her.
love before you go on, I'm sorry, but Shiba Inus are such they're just such characters. They're a meme on Twitter, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh, they're just so they're colorful. They're a colorful breed. I might get one of those next. I don't know if I'm gonna get yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
moving right along. More sponsors of American Family Insurance, Duncan's Dog Daycare, Mosquito Joe of Madison. I was going to say Wisconsin, but of Madison. So if you've got mosquitoes, you're in that area, give them a buzz. Red Petal Photography, Jennifer Miller. She's also on our team there. She does a great job. You can check out the photos from the walk here in a couple of days, and she'll have them posted. Our bronze paw sponsor is Happy Scratch. They have a little something that you can put over your dog's food that'll keep them from help their skin. McFarland Animal Hospital, Truesdale Animal Hospital and Clinic, and the Veterinary Emergency Group. So the Veterinary Emergency Group is new to Madison, and they will open up, I believe they said in July. We have some best friend sponsors, which of course was our Brutus Bone Broth with their Barkaritas, which were a huge hit with the dogs. I did see when we had our costume contest, you know, there were a couple of dogs that looked like they might have had a few of those margaritas. Of course, there's alcohol in it, but it's cute to think. Dulce Dog Photography, Integrative Veterinary Service, and Wonder Dog Training. So thank them. They were wonderful. You know, we can't have these walks without our wonderful vendors and sponsors and our volunteers. So a huge shout out to all of our volunteers as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting the Puppy Up Foundation and then the work that we do and will continue to do so long as I'm alive and hopefully a long time thereafter that. All right, everyone. Well, you know what? I almost forgot to thank our sponsor of this episode of Fuzzy Butts and Friends. As you may know, if you have listened to this show before, my Fuzzy Butt number 4, Indiana, he's on, I think, what's the greatest CBD hemp-based oil formulation out there on the market. I think it's helped him out a lot this past year and a half now. I think we've been dealing with this, and it's kept him moving up and moving around. You can learn more about their wonderful product, CBD hemp-based oil product, at geniestherapeutics.com. All right, Ginger, thank you for all the feedback and the fun banter. I think this was a fun Fuzzy Butts in the News episode number 3. I look forward to doing the next one, but next week we'll be back to business. We'll have with maybe a more serious topic to talk about. All right, everyone. Until then, thank you so much. Puppy up. Talk soon.
Bye.